Originally, I'm from Washington State. I moved down to California at about 15, 16 years old. I've been sailing since I was a little kid. And then I moved to Mexico and lived in Mexico for 40 years. Um, I, I'm a boat builder by trade. I grew up on the water. Um, I've built all kinds of boats and seen most of the world at this point. I've been in over 65 countries by boat.
Nice. And what has sailing enabled you to do?
It's freedom at its finest. But it takes a special person to be able to do it, because society teaches you that you should conform and pay your taxes and so on and so forth. And my father taught me adventure, and it was, no, let's go sailing. And governments try to stifle that. They don't want us out running around being free, and it's total freedom. Once you're out on the water, you can go anywhere you want, do pretty much anything you want, spend as much time out there as you want. Unfortunately, we end up having to go to certain places. A lot of them, like Tonga, like this, is perfect. It's a paradise. We see a lot of paradises, but then you see a whole lot of other shit too. But it's freedom. It's total freedom.
And what would you say to someone who thought it was just completely alien to them, but they kind of had an inkling that it might be a good idea? Should people get into this if they've never done it before?
I think you should try everything. I think everybody should try it. Everybody should see the difference. I think they should take every high school kid in the world and put him in a foreign country in a foreign language so that he learns reality and not just where he's from. You know, the more you travel, the more you understand, the more you see the cultures are different. I think everybody should do it. I really think everybody should do it at least once. I'll try to get everybody to do it at least once. You know?
Nice. And then, of course, you've got a whole wealth of knowledge, but if you were just to throw one tip out to anyone who's sailing already, it could be any tip.
Okay, I'll give you the biggest tip you can take. If you're gonna cross an ocean, go with somebody that knows what they're doing the first time, so that you learn. Okay, as an apprentice, let's say, like anything else, it's the best way to learn. Learn from somebody that already knows. It's a big shortcut, because to figure it all out by yourself is really hard and almost impossible. So to be able to sail with somebody else that has done it and has crossed oceans before is probably the best thing you could do.
And would you say it's easy? If you have that guidance, would you say it's easy to learn how to sail?
Oh yeah, I don't think sailing's hard. You know, it's more patience than anything else. Sailing will teach you patience in a lot of different things. It's a way that you live without sometimes, because you can't get everything you want everywhere either. Okay, not being able to sail into a place, or your motor breaks, or you run out of something. It'll teach you patience in a lot of different ways.
Nice. That was fantastic. It was great answers, man. Great answers. I know we've got a limited amount of time, and you've got a lifetime.
I'm just
of
drinking
stories.
beer and enjoying myself, but I don't often get put on a spot, which I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind.
Yeah.
I teach people the same way when I'm working on a boat, on somebody's boat. You always got 3 people looking over your shoulder because they want to know how you do it, and a lot of people don't know anymore. I grew up traditional wooden boat building, and it's a dying trade. Not many people know it anymore. I mean, it's actually become an art more than a trade. It used to be a trade, now it's an art. And they have certain wooden boat schools and stuff, but it's even in the boat schools, it's some of those folks don't have the experience that you got from a traditional apprenticeship program back in the days.
Yeah, I mean, you Yeah, you were super lucky because you come from a boating family.
I was
right?
very lucky. Well, and because of that, I was around it my whole life. I actually worked in a bunch of different places just cleaning up the shop when I was 9, you know. Started varnishing and stuff at 11 and 12. And, you know, I had my own woodworking business, boat building business when I was 15. I've never worked for anybody else pretty much but myself. You know, and I will keep it that way. I can't imagine tying myself into the system and paying fucking taxes for things that I don't agree with. I don't feel the need. So I stay a margin. They tell me I can't, but they don't even know I exist anymore. I've been gone out of society for so many years. They keep telling me that I don't exist. But then again, I have a passport and I renew it every 10 years. So it's...
So you've been able to stay out the system.
Oh, I've been out of the system for over 20 years now.
And you're out in a number of ways.
Oh, God, I don't have a bank account. I don't have a credit card. I don't have property payments. I don't have insurance. I don't have, you know, I mean, there's no P.O. box. There's no way to get a hold of me, you know.
And you don't have a SIM card, is that right?
I get a SIM card every once in a while, depending on the country.
Okay.
I couldn't get a SIM card here because they told me I didn't exist. When I gave them a thumbprint, they said, "You're not in the system."
Yeah,
And I thought, great. I'll get one later then. I don't need one, for sure.
Okay. I take it you don't keep up with the news?
Not much. I keep up with local news
Yeah,
because that's what affects me.
yeah.
You know, I don't keep up with it much anymore. Obviously, you have to keep up with certain things because if you're going to a certain country, you need to know what it's about and whether you can or whether you can't. And obviously, there's paperwork and stuff. It's changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as listening to news, and no.
What do you think about passports? Do you think that we shouldn't need them as a species?
Wow, that's a really good question. I mean, I understand it. People are they're trying to keep people from going into areas where there's rich and, you know, or this or that, or it's got things. I'm not a big passport fan. You know, we never used to have them. You just went where you went. I think that the human race will even itself out. You know, you might have a whole bunch of people that want to go to someplace like the United States or something, but there's as many people in the United States that would rather go to Mexico than the Mexicans go into I mean, it evens out. We're all people in the end, you know.
Yeah.
So if they're all educated the same, everybody's got education. What the fuck's the difference?
And then I find, well, obviously we speak from a certain angle because here we are in Africa.
Well, yeah, of course.
Right? But it's funny because whenever I joke that the Africans that go into England, if I ever see them halfway, you know, or in France and they made it or whatever, I'm like, well, I'm going to Africa.
All right.
Now, these guys are going to get trapped in those systems that you're escaping from.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, it's difficult if you've never had wealth, you've never lived that life, you feel like you need it, but essentially they're going to get trapped in a system that we're all escaping from. And we are in their country.
In their country, right?
So, you know, maybe it would even out. Maybe eventually everyone would, you know, travel and then say, you know what, I'm going back.
The absolute best commercial analogy, whatever, that I've seen so far was 4 small 5-year-old African kids with their loincloths on and looking over like the Serengeti. And they're looking like this, and they're just handsome, and they're smiling. And one of them says to the other one, he says, you know, I heard in America that if they don't behave in class, they give them Ritalin so that they calm down. So they're giving them drugs. And they have to sit in a classroom for 8 hours a day, being force-fed this and that, and so on and so forth. And they're talking about how bad it is because they're living out in the Serengeti, in this wonderful wilderness, you know. And the other one says, I think we should take up a collection.
And give them aid, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, to get them off of that crap, because that's sad. I mean, it is. And you know, so what is civilization? Civilization killed everything. You know, there's still a lot of tribes out there that have it way better off than the people in modern society, man. Modern society's a trip. Kind of scary, really. Scares me. I'd rather go sailing. I'd much rather go sailing.
So are you scared of the sea?
Huh?
Are you scared of the sea?
I have a lot of respect because I've been taught respect. Wow, afraid. Normally speaking, you're afraid before or after, but never during, because during you're too busy. You're too busy. When something happens, you go to fix it. You go do this. You do that. You know you got to eat. You know you got to do this. You know, and your mind is so busy. Fear isn't part of it. Fear happens before you go. It's like, oh, it's the apprehension. Oh, is it, is it going to be bad or is it not or whatever? When it happens and it does get bad, man, you're so focused that you're not afraid. You're just doing everything that you think you need to do.
Yeah.
And fear also happens in the end of it because it's all like, but it's more of a relief. It's like, oh, I'm done. It's over. It's gone. But you say, wow, that was crazy. Okay. So no, I don't think that I have a fear when I'm out there.
Nice.
You just deal with it as it comes. It's like anything else. You deal with it as it comes.
And what about Africa? What would you say to people that
I love this place.
About Africa?
I love this place. I was able to do a couple of safaris and go see things I've never seen. The people here in Tonga are as friendly as just about any place I've ever been. It's an easy place to be. The anchorage is absolutely stunning. Look at this. It's absolutely stunning. There's good folks at the club. There's good folks anchored out here. I've actually made enough money here that I've been able to stay no problem. So, yeah, I'd recommend it to anybody. Nice. I think that what they're trying to do in the club by putting in the marina and so on and so forth is a good, viable thing. But it's also a close, how can I put it? This place is close to a lot of different places because the up and down the coast of Kenya and up and down the coast of Tanzania, there's some wonderful places to go see. And Pemba, and the next island out, Zanzibar, and the next island down, and so on and so forth. Plus Mayotte in Madagascar. I mean, it's a really, Seychelles, Maldives. They're all within 6 days of here.
Yeah.
So it's a good spot. I mean, I know a lot of people that have lived in Tanzania and for years, 7, 8 years, and they love it here.
Nice.
I would do it. I would definitely do
Sure.
it. Well, actually, it's a toss-up. Fiji's one. I love Fiji. Okay. So I got stuck in Fiji for 1.5 years and had a ball. One of the best places I ever got stuck in my life. I got stuck in Thailand for 2 years during COVID. One of the best places I've ever been in my life. I could move to Thailand in a heartbeat. I didn't like the Maldives because I didn't like the bureaucracy. The Seychelles was too expensive. East Africa is awesome.
Yeah.
This is nice, but you've only got the 2 countries because the Mozambique is pretty much off limits, and so is the Somalia. So, I mean, you really only got the 2 countries, Kenya and Tanzania, that you can sit and do this.
Yeah.
And both are worth it. I mean, I never went into Kenya, but I know a lot of people that have.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to see it. I just don't have time. I gotta go home. I've spent too much time. Time to go home.
Nice, but you're living a life. Your time is well spent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I would much rather do this than have a job. I mean, who would want that? As soon as you get a job, you tie yourself into the system, okay? My kind of work, I work from boat to boat to boat to bar to bar to bar. You find the work on the bar, you do the work on the boat. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
And as long as you don't step on toes on locals, you can pretty much keep yourself busy as long as you have an income. And that income can be a lot of different things. I know a lot of sailors. Some of them are sails. They will always make money. Some are carpenters. They'll always make money. Some do water makers. Some are electronics. Some are electricians. Some are, cushions. I know people who were masseuses that went around the world as a masseuse. Everywhere they went, they threw out their portable table and started doing massage right here, like at the yacht club on the beach. I mean, there's ways to make money. And nowadays, there's so many people with blogs and so many people that are online, and everywhere they go, they get online and they do their business online. I mean, it's all feasible now. Mechanics, same thing. Refrigeration, air conditioning, those guys will always make money. If you have any one of those trades, you can find work on every single boat here.
Sure.
Outboard mechanic. I know an outboard mechanic that went to several different schools, Honda, Mercury, Evinrude, in the land of 10,000 lakes up in Minnesota. And that's all he does is outboards. And he's got a really nice boat and a really nice house and a really nice family. And it's certain things that you can do all over the world. Painters, varnishers, I mean, they make money. It's pretty simple, really. It's a lifestyle change. Basically, it's looking for work in a different way.
And then you say you've worked everywhere you went.
I've worked in almost every single country I've been in. Yeah, but like I said, you meet friends. You talk to them at the bar, and it's an exchange of, well, what do you do? And this is what I do. And if I need what he does, it's, well, I'll make you trade, or or I'll pay you to do what you do because I need that, and you need what I, what I mean?
So
it's like Arthur, who's going to give me a hard time for helping out a friend over on Arthur's boat for a couple of weeks? I'm not stepping on anybody's toes because it's not something like the kind of work he'd just give to anybody anyway. So, and it's the same. If you go over to my boat because you need some canvas done and we break out my sewing machine, you see what I mean? It's not like you're taking work away from anybody or anything like that. But also, it's a direct thing with you. So taxes aren't involved. Government's not involved. My dad told us, he said, why get the government involved in a good thing? That's the quickest way to ruin it. That makes sense, right?
Sure. Sounds like a smart man.
Yeah, Dad was as a character for sure. Had some good advice. Had some great advice over the years.
So it pays to come with a skill. It's paid to learn some skills.
Well, Dad originally grew up sailing with his mom and dad and his grandparents. But then when he went into school and he got through university, he graduated as an aerospace engineer and went into working for Boeing, Lockheed, Douglas, all that kind of stuff. And after he turned about 35 years old, had 5 kids, decided he didn't want to do that anymore. So he divorced my mom, moved into a different state, and went back to sailing around on boats. Did it the rest of his life. That's what made him happy. He did deliveries, he managed marinas, he did salvage work, he was a marine surveyor, and that's how I grew up. Wandering around a crazy old fart town. Taught me a lot.
I'm sure. So have you got an adventure left on the horizon that you...
I have lots of adventures left on the horizon still, man. One, I definitely got to get home. Yeah, but I still want to see. I still want to go in through Indonesia, and I still want to see China and Japan. I mean, there's so many places in the world that I haven't seen. Even at 65 countries, there's 100 and maybe even 200 more to see. I want to see them all. I just want to keep moving, and I don't see myself stopping until I'm old enough that I can't go sailing anymore. Grandma said, you own sailboats until you own powerboats. And then you own powerboats until you own a motorhome. You own the motorhome until you go to the old folks' home. And I think she's right.
Yeah.
I think she's got it right on.